solicited pirating of music. Can you go to jail for solicitation?
I mean,
of music pirating?
In my defense, at the time, I was kind of like, well, it's on the internet, and it's so, like, this can't be illegal, right?
Hey guys, it's Ben VanderHart here at Yellow Racket Records along with my cohort,
Abe Houck.
Abe and I are working hard to get this record store up and running, and in the meantime, we wanted to start conversation about music because that's what this is really all about, right? It's a place for music lovers to come together and share their passion for music. So we wanted to kick things off by talking about our favorite albums of all time. So Abe, do you want to like jump in and talk about your favorite record? I think you have it with you, right?
Sure do. So my pick is probably, not probably, let me do this again. It definitely is Paul Simon's Graceland. If I was to pick one record, it would be this one.
All right, why? What's the backstory?
Well, the first time I ever heard it was after digging through my dad's secret collection, because, you know, growing up as a missionary's kid, we weren't allowed to listen to secular music.
Yeah.
Secular music.
So you snuck into your dad's room, and under the bed was a secret stash.
I found it. Let's just say I
secular
found it
records
somehow. And I would listen to it on my Walkman late at night, you know, underneath the covers. I was like 9 or 10, and it just blew my mind. The lyrics just blew me away, like stuff like "Boy in the Bubble" and "Baby with Baboon Heart" and things like that. I remember that hitting me right away. And you know, that song that is the first song on the album, "Boy in the Bubble." It's got that real, almost military drum beat with the accordions coming in. I just, I just get goosebumps thinking about it the first time I listened to it. Yeah, and the whole record from beginning to end is just magical. It just comes from another place and opened up a whole new world of music for me.
Well, it's a pretty new record to me because nobody ever put me onto it. So
okay.
I need to spend some time with it and get to know it better.
So there's one more little bit of trivia from growing up. So the very first band I was ever in, one of my bandmates went to school with Ray Peary's son. Ray Peary was the guitarist, and he did a lot of the arranging on Paul Simon's Graceland.
Yeah.
So Ray Peary lived in the town that I grew up in South Africa, and he's the main guitarist, and he arranged a lot of the stuff. And so we ended up taken under his wing, and he invited us to his home studio. We ended up recording our first demos at his house in his studio. He would come to our shows and make notes, and then afterward, have a round table discussion and tell us like what we should change or speed up or slow down. So that was a great experience.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was your band called?
Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
So, Ben, let us know what your favorite record is.
All right. So I have the first copy of Kid A that I ever owned, which I acquired only a few years ago. But this has been my favorite record for a very long time. I first heard this album when I was probably in like 8th grade. I remember I wasn't even driving because my older brother would take me to the library, and I would just get stacks and stacks of CDs, stuff that I'd never heard before, and then I took it to a friend's house who did have a CD burner. And we would just like throw these CDs in there that I'd never even heard of before, but we'd just burn a copy. So I'm going through all these CDs, and every now and again we'd just like stick one in the boombox sitting on the desk in my friend's dad's office and just test it to make sure it worked. You know, it hadn't been corrupted at some point in the process. And so this album comes on, and we're sitting there just doing our thing, burning other records. And I remember I stopped and turned to my brother, and I was like, "What do you think about this?" And he stopped for a minute, and he looked at me, and he's like, "It's pretty weird." I was like, "Yeah, but it's really cool." And that's, I think, why this album is so important to me, because it was a moment where I heard something that I'd never heard before, and it completely changed the way that I thought about making music or what music could be, because I hadn't been challenged like that with an album before, and yet it was still so accessible that every time I listened to it, it was meaningful and singable, and it was just a masterpiece. And it really grew close to my heart when my brother bought me this CD alarm clock, and so I stuck this burned copy that my friend with terrible handwriting had just put Kid A in like the worst handwriting you've ever seen on the front of this thing, and every single morning the alarm would go off and everything in its right place would come on, and that's how I would wake up for like months, weeks on end. And you know, I'd switch it out every now and again. But I even got back into it in college because I still had that alarm clock, and I lived with 3 other guys in an apartment off campus, and I was like, you guys need to wake up to Kid A with me every morning. We did that for a while.
Absolutely.
And that is why this album is so close to my heart. And I think what we want to invite you guys to do is share your personal experiences with us. Take a moment and tell us what your favorite album is so that we know what records we should have stocked in the store, and tell us why you like it, because it's all about like the personality of the music and the story behind it, right? So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what we want to hear from you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We are looking forward to hearing your stories and stocking your favorite albums in our store. We are working hard as we can to get the store open by the end of July, so plan on coming to visit us then. In the meantime, we need all the support we can get in the middle of a pandemic that is the worst time to be opening a new business. So check out our online store and order stuff. We're doing curbside pickup, local delivery, and domestic shipping. So we'd love to have your support. We'll see you next time.